The bailiff, the stenographer, even the prosecutor. They were all in on the laugh. Everyone except Jalen. He stood there, still as stone, eyes calm, no smile. He'd spent years preparing for moments like this. Not this exact moment, but close enough. He'd never imagined himself as the one facing charges, but the courtroom was as familiar to him as his own bedroom. When other kids memorized basketball stats, Jalen memorized case law. When his friends played video games, he ran mock trials in his mind, cross-examining imaginary witnesses. His mother, Denise Dawson, had been a paralegal for more than 2 decades. Over dinners, she told him stories about prosecutors cutting corners, judges playing favorites, and defense attorneys who barely lifted a finger. By 14, Jalen could break down a trial better than most first-year law students. But Judge Grayson didn't know that. To him, Jalen was just another teenager in trouble. "Let's make this quick," the judge sighed, opening the file. "I've got a golf game at 2. The room chuckled, but this time, something shifted. A small, barely there smirk appeared on Jalen's lips. Grayson had just made his first mistake. No one else noticed, yet. The prosecutor, Mitchell Carrington, rose with the confidence of a man certain of victory. His suit was perfect, his tie flawless, and his voice polished from repeating the same speeches 100 times before. "Your Honor, the state will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the defendant, Jalen Dawson, was caught red-handed in a stolen 2022 Audi A6, reported missing only hours earlier. Officers pursued him through downtown, where he attempted to flee before being apprehended. His fingerprints were found on the steering wheel. The evidence speaks for itself." The jury shifted. The whispers began. It sounded airtight. Grayson glanced at Jalen over his glasses, then nodded for Carrington to continue. The prosecutor moved toward the jury box. "The defense may claim this is all a misunderstanding, that Mr. Dawson is some innocent victim of circumstance. But what kind of victim runs from the police?" The tension in the air thickened. Carrington began reading from Officer Daniel Ruiz's testimony, claiming he personally saw Jalen behind the wheel before the arrest. The car was confirmed stolen, and the arrest by the book. "Sounds straightforward to me," Grayson muttered. For most in the room, it probably did. But Jalen had studied enough trials to spot the cracks. "Let's hear the defense," Grayson said. Lisa Thornton, Jalen's public defender, stood up nervously. "Your Honor, my client—" Jalen placed a hand on her arm. She paused, then sat down. "I'll be representing myself, Your Honor," Jalen said. The room went still. Grayson raised an eyebrow. "You'll what?" "I'll be defending myself," Carrington smirked. "This should be interesting." But no one was smirking when Jalen stepped forward. "Your Honor, before I begin, I'd like to confirm something with the prosecution," Jalen said. Carrington folded his arms. "Go ahead." "You said Officer Daniel Ruiz personally saw me behind the wheel before my arrest?" "That's right." "And that's in his written report?" "Of course." Jalen nodded. "Then I move to strike that testimony as evidence." "On what grounds?" Grayson asked. "Because Officer Ruiz never saw me in that car," Jalen replied. "He wasn't even on duty when the chase began." Carrington frowned. "What are you talking about?" "I request the officer's GPS logs from that night," Jalen continued. "If his report is true, it'll match. But I doubt it will." The murmurs grew louder. Carrington hesitated just long enough for the jury and the judge to notice. "No objections, Your Honor," Carrington finally said, but the damage was already done. "Your Honor," Carrington pushed back, "the defendant's fingerprints were on the steering wheel." "That's true," Jalen agreed, "but let's think about that logically." He faced the jury. If you try on a jacket at a store, put it back, and hours later someone steals it, does your fingerprint make you the thief? A few jurors exchanged glances. That car was parked outside a 7-Eleven hours before the theft, Jalen continued. I leaned against it. I even opened the door because it was unlocked. Dumb? Yes. Theft? Number. And let's talk about how those fingerprints were processed, he said, turning to Grayson. Was the forensic specialist subpoenaed to testify? The judge glanced at Carrington. No, the prosecutor admitted. So the state wants to convict me based on forensic evidence without allowing me to question the person who processed it? No chain of custody verification? No cross-examination? Carrington's jaw tightened. Your Honor, Jalen said, I'd also like to submit a statement from the car's owner, Mr. Raymond Whitaker, conveniently missing from the prosecution's filings. Carrington stiffened. He knew what was coming. Jalen read aloud. I left my car running outside a gas station. Some kid jumped in and drove off. But it wasn't the guy you arrested. The kid I saw was white. Gasps rippled through the courtroom. I wasn't in the car, Jalen said, voice steady. I was blocks away, walking home after getting snacks with friends. The real suspect got away. The only reason I'm here is because I fit the wrong description. The silence was heavy. Grayson looked at Carrington. Anything further? The prosecutor swallowed. No, Your Honor. Grayson exhaled, then delivered the words that would echo in everyone's mind. Case dismissed. Chaos erupted. Reporters scribbled notes. Cameras flashed. Jalen stayed still, letting the moment sink in. Denise waited for him outside, arms crossed, face unreadable. You scared me half to death, she said, pulling him into a hug. Had to take the risk, Ma. Across the street, Judge Grayson watched quietly. The arrogance was gone. There was something else now. Respect, maybe even regret. Mr. Dawson, he called before Jalen walked away. You should consider law school. Jalen smiled faintly. Already on it. This wasn't just about his case. It was about all the ones where bias and shortcuts stole the truth. Jalen had the knowledge to fight back. Others didn't. The next time he stood in a courtroom, he wouldn't be the defendant. He'd be the one fighting for justice. For all of them.